Hey guys, we all have played Total War 3 Kingdoms, but I'm not sure if you guys know the stories and if you know what actually happened in that part of Chinese history. Plus, there are a massive amount of characters in the game. It is difficult to know each one of them. However, their life story is just fascinating. Today we're going to talk about Liu Bei. Liu Bei is one of the protagonists in Romance of Three Kingdoms, the leader of faction Shu, the Emperor of Han, the one that's famous for his humble, kindness, and ups and downs, as well as a spirit that's never give up. I picked this guy to start this series of introduction of characters in Romance of Three Kingdoms because although, for the most part, it wasn't really successful, he's the only one faction leader that pretty much involved in all major events in that chaotic part of Chinese history. His looks. If you're a Romance of Three Kingdoms fan just like me, I believe you have played Total War 3 Kingdoms. Liu Bei looks like this in it. This is him in Koi's Romance of Three Kingdoms. This is him in Koi's Dynasty Warriors. In Chinese movies and TV dramas, the actor they pick to play the role of Liu Bei is generally very normal at a glance. My favorite Liu Bei looks like this. He looks very civilian. Here he's making dumplings in his military camp. But I can feel that there is some strong will and power reside in him. He can switch on and be the ambitious warlord anytime he needs. Actually, the real Liu Bei might be an odd-looking fellow. The description in the Romance of Three Kingdoms states that he is 两耳垂肩,双手过膝, which means he has really big ears that are so big they go all the way to his shoulders. And he has really long arms that reach beyond his knee. There are also people call him 陆卓君, which literally means a naked-ass man. It is actually a pun referring that he has no beard and therefore barefaced. So he might, in fact, look like this. Yeah, that's right, Dawson from Street Fighter. I'm not saying he looks like an Indian yoga master, but since he has really big ears and long arms and he has no beard, I just can't find a better image to fit the description. Childhood. Liu Bei is a descendant of the imperial family. His family lost the imperial title since his grandfather. His father died at a very young age and left him and his mother living in poverty. He was initially a straw sandals and mats maker and seller in a very small town in here. However, at the time, his competitor, Cao Cao, was already a police commissioner in the capital city. Yuan Shao was a playboy who throws parties every day in his big mansion. Sun Jian has been a vice mayor in 3 different counties. Not to mention the warlord who older than him were even bigger shot. Liu Bei was obviously not in the same ward with those guys. Yellow Turban's Uprising. His chance of changing his fate comes when the Yellow Turban's Uprising occurred. Since the Imperial Army hasn't been a real war for too long, and the Yellow Turban Army looks way too big, the Central Imperial Government realized that they might not have enough power to win. So they decided to allow the local governor to recruit their own army to fight the war. The war gave Liu Bei a chance to climb the social ladder. With the help of his one brothers Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, he raised a small army to fight the local bandits and join the battle fighting Yellow Turbans. This gave him a chance to meet, know and fight along with people who were stronger than him. The bigger stage also opened his eyes and made him realize that there are many people who are far better than him. He knows his limitations, but he also realized that he can be a good leader. He doesn't have to be excel at everything. This mindset made him been through many ups and downs in his life. He completely lost his territory 5 times, served 6 different masters in his downtime. But he always kind of maintained his independence and has a crew of excellent followers. Because of his battle achievements, he was quickly made a chief policeman in a very small county. However, not long later, the Han government decided to review all the officers who got the job because of war exploits. He lost his first job just like that. Ups and downs of a warlord. He then went to serve his first master, warlord Gong Sun Zan, in the state of You. Gong Sun Zan is the first big-timer Liu Bei knows, who also appeared to be a perfect master to serve. He was one of the strongest warlords at the time. There were 13 states in China, and he controlled 2 of them, state of You and Qing. He had the best special force, the White Horse Cavalry Unit, and a powerful army. To me as master, I would bet my life on if I was nobody just like Liu Bei was at the time. But obviously, Liu Bei has a bigger dream. He believes that Gong Sun Zan will be defeated by Yuan Shao. More importantly, he he wants his own greatness, not just working under some belligerent warlord. Soon he had his chance to leave Gongsun-zan. When state governor of Xu, Tao Qian was attacked by Cao Cao, Liu Bei led his army to help Tao Qian and successfully saved him. Tao Qian therefore became Liu Bei's second master. Liu Bei really hit a jackpot here. Because Tao Qian had a decent army and controlled the state of Xu, but he was old and sick, was not able to change the chaotic internal conflicts, also felt defenseless in front of Cao Cao's large army. Tao Qian really believed in Liu Bei. He made him the leader of his faction before he dies, and Liu Bei became a warlord at the age of 34. This is Liu Bei's first time to be a leader of a faction, but because lacks experiences and prestige, he didn't do a good job. Only 1 year later, warlord Liu Bu betrayed him and sneak attacked and occupied his Xu state while he was taking a fight against warlord Yuan Shu. So quickly, Liu Bei lost his first territory. His wife was captured by Liu Bu as well. Since he has nowhere to go, he begged for peace and temporarily followed Liu Bu and got his wife back. Not long later, Liu Bu felt uncomfortable about Liu Bei's development. He attacked Liu Bei again. Liu Bei lost his territory the second time. He ran away and joined his force with Cao Cao and defeated Liu Bu. After that, he followed his fourth master, Cao Cao, for a while. Cao Cao gave him an army to defeat and kill powerful warlord Yuan Shu. Liu Bei then used the same army to get his territory instead of Xu back and gain his independence. When Cao Cao knows that, he led his troops to defeat Liu Bei. Liu Bei was wiped off the map the third time, and his wives were captured again. He went to serve his fifth master Yuan Shao for a few months. We all know this famous story of what happened next. Liu Bei's best general Guan Yu single-handedly passed 5 outposts by force and killed 6 of Cao Cao's generals and escorted Liu Bei's wife and kids back to him. Liu Bei convinced the warlord Yuan Shao to let him troops to take over Runan. He has his independence the 4th time. He tried to attack Cao Cao but was quickly defeated. He lost his territory again. He then fled to the state of Jing to serve his 6th master, Liu Bei. Liu Bei gave him Xinye County to station his army. Very soon he was attacked by Cao Cao, but this time, with the help of his new advisor Xu Shu, Liu Bei ambushed and finally had a small victory. 6 years later, Liu Bei was defeated by Cao Cao again and lost his wife and kids the 4th time in Changban. Luckily, his general Zhao Yun found his wives and kids but failed to escort everybody to safety, only brought back his son Liu Shan. After Liu Bei's death and his faction surrounded to Cao Cao, Liu Bei still didn't want to give up. This guy is endless. He formed an alliance with Sun Quan. They made history together and defeated Cao Cao's humongous army of 800,000 men in the Battle of Red Cliffs. In the past 19 years, from 189 to 208, Liu Bei gained his independence and territory 5 times but was defeated and wiped off the map 5 times. He even abandoned his wife and kids 4 times in this period, but luckily he got them back every time. This is a warlord who never gives up. He takes every opportunity, uses all the resources that are available to him, kept on trying his best in this chaotic time to survive, not as a person, but as a faction, a warlord who never died. Some might wonder how he survived every lost battle. I believe one of the reasons is that nobody wanted to kill him. The 5 times he was wiped off the map, 3 of them was lost to Cao Cao and 2 of them were Liu Bu. May I remind you that he did work for both of those 2 warlords for a while. Both of them had plenty of opportunities to kill him if they want to, but they didn't do it. They not only knew him, but also I believe their personal relationship was actually quite good. When Liu Bei was working for Cao Cao, Cao Cao said Liu Bei and himself are the only 2 heroes in the world. Liu Bu also believed Liu Bei and himself were the only two warlords who were fighting for the revival of Han Dynasty. All thanks to the way Liu Bei positioned him. He advertised that he is the uncle of the emperor and he fights for the Han Dynasty. He also has a reputation for being a nice, humble, and able man. Even the powerful warlord Cao Cao couldn't kill him because he knows his image will become a bloodthirsty demon if he does it. The other fascinating part of Liu Bei was that although he lost everything many times, he always had a crew of followers. There were many good generals at this chaotic time, but only a handful of them can stay independent and leading a faction. The reason for those who couldn't do it is that they don't have supporters, and that's critical. Emperor's uncle. No matter how many times he was defeated and lost his territory, it all seems like everywhere he goes, warlords always welcomed him. Nobody underestimated him, and his crew always follows him. Besides his good reputation, another reason is that he claims himself as Emperor's uncle. Actually, many people don't believe it at the time, and even today, including me. This guy was a total civilian who makes and sells straw sandals and mats when the chaos started. He says he is the 17th generation descendant of King Zhongshan Jing, who by the way had 120 sons. It is too difficult to track his family back 17 generations to an ancestor who has 120 sons. Liu Bei, of course, knows it is impossible too. So many people believe that this is exactly why Liu Bei handpicked King Zhongshan Jing as his ancestor. Hey, anyway, since he was famous, able, and ambitious, many warlords choose to believe him. Even the emperor testified his family tree and gave his imperial title back to him. Although many believed the emperor did it simply because he was kind of house arrested by Cao Cao and he was helpless and just needed someone to help him. But his words are older, right? Talent expert. Regardless of how many times he failed in the first half of his life, Liu Bei has successfully built the kingdom of Shu in the second half of his life. Besides all the above-mentioned good qualities of him, one of the reasons of his success is that he is the best talent expert at the time. Liu Bei can always recognize the extraordinary people from the ordinary. His talent pool is actually the smallest compared to other factions. Since he didn't have a stable territory before he occupies the state of Jing, so the recruitment was not easy for him. After the state of Jing, his territory, although the geography size wasn't too small, but the population as well as the development level, the education level was just not good, much worse compared to the others. However, he can always spot a talented person once he meets one. He has never misjudged any one person in his crew in his entire life. There are many examples. He trusted Wei Yan, despite his chief advisor Zhuge Liang didn't like him. He told Zhuge Liang not to put Ma Su in important positions, but Zhuge Liang just did it anyway, which caused a total failure in the Battle of Jieting, which actually decided the fate of Kingdom Shu. The list can go on and on. He cried 50 times. Liu Bei is famous for crying. In the book of Romance of Three Kingdoms, he cried 50 times. 30 of them was for sadness, 20 of them was for happiness. Some people in China joke that he cried his kingdom out. A famous cry was after the Battle of Red Cliffs. Liu Bei stole half of the state of Jing from Sun Quan, then cried miserably in front of Sun Quan's ambassador, Lu Su. This lured Lu Su into agreement to allow Liu Bei's temporary ownership of state of Jing, until he can find another home. We all know what happened after that. Liu Bei's life has changed. Luck finally found him. Without having the state of Jing, none of what happened later would be possible. The story of Liu Bei doesn't end here. After the Battle of Red Cliffs, he finally had his turning point. Later, he not only conquered 1/3 of China, but also ascended the throne and became the Zhao Emperor of Han Dynasty. Please subscribe to the channel and watch the next episode, The Emperor Liu Bei.